Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do cuttings of Sekka Hinoki, or also known as the Chamaecyparis obtusa. Timing for this work is early autumn. What I'm planning on doing is to start a series today of videos on this species. Today's part, the first part in the series, will be the propagation of the species. Then, over the years to come, I'd like you to follow the progress all the way through to, hopefully one day, a potted bonsai tree. Although you can take cuttings from a Sekka Hinoki bonsai tree, the best cuttings will come from a garden plant or a plant that is being potted in an oversized container, as one would expect the vitality of the tree to be far higher than that of a bonsai tree. I'm going to be using one of the Muruku development pots to strike my cuttings in. I love using these pots for all sorts of applications in the nursery because they're high fired and thus mold and moss don't tend to grow on the outside surfaces. I will be using the model 5.5 from this series, but if you don't have access to them, you can use a pot of roughly 170 millimeters diameter and 78 millimeters in depth. Next, you're going to need a piece of drainage mesh, which is going to prevent the growing media from rushing out or falling out of the rather large drainage hole at the base of the container. To ensure that the drainage mesh doesn't move during the operation, it's best to secure it in position with some aluminium wire. My preference for this application is around a 2mm or 2.5mm thickness. Rather than just simply pushing the cutting into the growing medium and perhaps damaging the tip, it's a good idea to use something like this, an aluminium root pick, to make the hole. You will also need a sharp pair of scissors to cut the piece of growth from the tree that you will use as your cutting. Make sure that your tools are sharp, they are cleaned, and you can also disinfect them or sterilize them using surgical spirits or alcohol. If you are taking particularly large cuttings, then it might be worthwhile to have a branch cutter on hand so that you don't damage your scissors. Use a small soil scoop to place the growing media into the container so that you mess less and place the media exactly where you want it. A combination tool like this rake and spatula tool is very handy also for raking the soil level in the container, as well as the spatula side to compact the soil around the cutting. There are many rooting hormones that are available in the market, the liquid types, the gel type, as well as the powder type. Because we are taking hardwood cuttings in autumn, this will be the strongest of the hormones. I like to decant some of the gel into a small container into which I will stand the cuttings. Now for the rooting medium, I'm going to be using various grades of akadama. In fact, this is my standard drainage mix, which consists of equal parts of medium akadama and medium pumice. Next, you'll need a layer of small akadama. For the top and final layer of the growing media, I'm going to be using a fine akadama that's been sifted as well to remove any dust. Next, you're going to need some long fibered sphagnum moss. This moss will be used as a layer on top of the drainage layer of soil. So let's get started by first preparing our container. Make sure that your drainage mesh more than covers the hole. Failure to do that might result in some of the media leaking out around the sides. Now we're going to bend up a little wire loop to ensure that the mesh doesn't move while we're working with the growing medium. If this is the first time you bend up one of these things, then it might take you a few attempts to get it right. But it is a very common shape used in the repotting of bonsai trees, so spend a little bit of time getting them just right. Now we insert the wire from the inside of the pot to the outside. The legs should be right up to the edge of the drainage hole so that the drainage mesh can't move left or right. Then you'll bend the wire legs flush to the outside bottom surface of the container. Then using a wire cutter, cut off any excess wire. Now using my soil scoop, I'm going to scoop up some of the drainage growing media and place that into the container. It's not necessary for this layer to be more than a few centimeters in depth. On top of that, we're going to place some of the small akadama. This should bring the level of soil in the container to roughly just below the central or the halfway mark. Let's grab some of the unchopped sphagnum moss and create a layer on top of that. Again, as a rule of thumb, it's probably around about a centimeter thick once it's been patted down slightly. The last ingredient to go in is our sifted fine akadama. Now you'll fill the rest of the container up to the rim. Gently level your soil with a spatula or the rake. Then you'll want to use a very fine spray to thoroughly rinse the soil so that any of the dust that remains can be washed out, as you don't want to do this process once you've already got your cuttings in place. If you've performed this step thoroughly, then the water that's dripping through the bottom should be clear. I'll now decant some of my rooting gel. And now finally we can get around to taking the cuttings. I'm looking for material that has a thickness of a little bit thinner than a pencil and that has become quite woody. As I'm going to be taking multiple cuttings until I'm ready to actually dip them in the gel, I'm going to put them in some clean water. This ensures that the cuttings don't suck up any air into the stem. So let's take out a cutting from the water, and I'm going to clean off the base of the cutting, removing any of the fine foliage. The extent to which you clean off the foliage is roughly the depth that it will be inserted. Now take the cutting and insert it into the rooting gel, making sure to coat it very well. Next, prepare a hole using the root pick. You should feel the resistance of the sphagnum moss at the bottom, so don't push through that level. You can then firm up the growing medium around the cutting using the spatula side of the combination tool. I will now carry on and prepare some more cuttings and insert them in the media. You may also have noticed that the cuttings that I'm using are roughly between 15 to 20 centimeters in length. I believe cuttings of this size are more successful. I believe the reason for this is simply as there's much more foliage available, and therefore the plant's foodstuffs is in more plentiful supply to keep the cutting going until it is actually only able to provide its own once it's developed roots. You may have also noticed the manner in which I'm arranging the cuttings in the container. I firstly believe that cuttings like company, so I generally place mine fairly close to each other, probably only distanced by about 2 or 3 centimeters. You would also have noticed that I start by placing the cuttings in the center of the container, and then I move towards the outside, towards the rim. This container of cuttings is now completed. It's important that you don't go and water immediately, because this will just simply wash the hormones off the cuttings once more. I like to keep a record of when I took cuttings. This helps me tremendously to improve or increase the body of my knowledge when it comes to propagation. I'm now going to place the potted cuttings in a sheltered position, which will receive roughly 40% shade. They will also be misted several times a day, but not excessively so, because that can also lead to fungal issues. Another important thing to protect them from is any wind, because movement in the cutting at this point in time is going to result in it not rooting. While I was busy with these cuttings, I also did cuttings of 2 other species of Hinoki. This is the foliage of the Hinoki, which is more standard in use as bonsai subjects. It has relatively small foliage. It's very pest resistant, but I do find where I live at least, it is fairly slow to develop. This is the foliage type of the Sekka Hinoki, and that is what we've been doing cuttings of in this video. I find that the development is much faster than the standard Hinoki, at least where I am. In fact, all of the material that was used for cuttings today was developed in the last few months alone. This is another species which I imported from Japan, and it's called Miyabi Hinoki. This variety of Hinoki has the smallest foliage of the 3 that I featured in today's video. And that brings me to the end of today's part of this series. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't done so already, please do like and subscribe to the channel so that you'll be kept abreast of or notified of updates.